This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
On eBay, every find has a story. Like if you're looking for a vintage band tee, not just a tee, the band tee. You wore it everywhere until your ex-boyfriend stole it. Now you're on eBay, and there it is. Same tee from the same tour. The things you love have a way of finding their way back to you, especially on eBay. Where else can you find that mint trading card you search for everywhere that's out of print? Or your first car, the one you wish you'd never sold? It has to be eBay. Shop eBay for millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love. Hello and welcome to The Short Stuff. I'm Josh and there's Chuck and Jerry sitting in for Dave. So it's short stuff, you basic person.
You calling me bougie?
Yeah. No,
Right.
I'm not. I wouldn't do that. I think it's kind of a mean thing to say to somebody, at least in America. In France, they're like, yes, you're right. Thank you. In America, it's a bit of a put down.
That's right. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about a word, bourgeois, B-O-U-R-G-E-O-I-S.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with bourgeoisie, correct?
Well, yeah, they're very closely related. Bourgeois can mean it can be an adjective and a noun.
Right.
If it's a noun, you're talking about one person who is bourgeois. So that's their behavior, or it's the one person. Bourgeoisie is all of the people who are bourgeois. It's a noun only. Okay,
That's
everybody,
right,
there's going to be a quiz at the end of this episode.
But if you talk to Americans, a lot of Americans probably hear bourgeois and they think, oh, fancy, fancy, fancy.
Right.
And that is not the case because bourgeois refers to, like you called me, basics, or sort of a middle-class basic individual.
Yes.
Or group of individuals.
Right. But there's a long road between the original version of bourgeois that we'll talk about and then the American version that it has now. And right smack dab in the middle are the commies,
Right.
specifically Karl Marx.
Yeah.
I don't understand why Joseph Engels never gets his due, because he and Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto, but it's always just Karl Marx, Marx, it must drive Engels crazy. But in 1848, they published the Communist Manifesto, and in that, they adopted the word that had formerly been middle-class people. It wasn't really much of a put-down. It was just a useful word for a while. He equated them with the people who owned the capital that the labor was produced on and decided that they were exploiting the proletariat, the working class, right?
That's right. And he was writing in German, so of course he did not say bourgeois. He said bürgerliche Gesellschaft.
Oh, beautiful.
And English.
You make German sound beautiful, Chuck.
Thank you. Danke. In America, they may translate that as civil society or maybe a bourgeois society. But either way you slice it, what he's saying is the bourgeoisie are the bad people.
They're exploitive. They're not
Yes.
actually doing anything. They just own the stuff that the people who are actually doing something are using to do the thing that they're doing. But really, the bourgeoisie are the ones who are making the money off the working class in their labor, right? So
Yeah.
it was not at this time, it was not viewed as a very popular, or it wasn't praise. How about that? No one ever used it for praise by this time. And when it finally crossed the Atlantic to America around the early 20th century, the Wobblies, the industrial workers of the world, who were, I believe, we talked about them before, and they were split between communists and anarchists. And there was a big struggle, I think, between the two. But regardless of whether you're a communist or an anarchist at the beginning of the 20th century, you were not a fan of the bourgeoisie. And so the Wobblies did not like the bourgeoisie either. And they, in fact, came up with a new slang term for them.
That's right. The slang word was bourgeois, B-U-S-H-W-A.
Mm-hmm.
And what's weird, I think that was in a quote from a 1970 article. What's weird, though, is that word bourgeois eventually was sort of morphed into a slang for BS, like somebody's full of hot air, or BS, someone, was full of bourgeois.
Right. We have to thank our friends at the Grammarphobia blog for digging that stuff up.
That's right.
And then so it also kind of morphed in a new way, kind of the way that that we view it today, but a little, yeah, I guess it was pretty much the way we view it today. It first pops up in Black culture where it kind of morphed, thanks to Gladys Knight and the Pips.
Mm.
They had a disco hit in 1980 called Bourgeoisie.
Mm-hmm.
And
can we hear a snippet?
no, we can't, unfortunately. But if you want to hear any of the song Bourgeoisie, you can find it on YouTube or just about anywhere where you can listen to it free and clear. But it's a great song, and I strongly recommend people go listen to it.
Yeah, and that would be Bourgie, comma Bourgie.
Right. And the whole point of the song is it's about somebody who comes from the working class or a poorer background, but started to make money, and now they're flaunting it. They have like a new car with a sunroof. They have new clothes. And it was a commentary on them, but also kind of like a snide one too. Like these people are being tacky in a way and forgetting who they are, where they come from, I guess.
Yeah, it is kind of like that new money, old money thing, which is just so, bleh, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. I say we take a break, Chuck.
Yes, I was about to say that. Nice work. Hey, everybody. Here's a fact for you. In the United States, there is a break-in every 26 seconds, and that means that somewhere right now, an intruder is getting closer. And the problem with most security systems is that they only alert you after the break-in has started, and that's too late.
Well, that's what makes SimpliSafe different. They use alerts. SimpliSafe's U.S.-based live agents, they identify threats on your property and help deter them before they actually break in. So the intruder never gets into your house. The crime is stopped before it even starts.
That's right. And another great thing about SimpliSafe is they have no long-term contracts. They give you peace of mind and great value with their monitoring deterrence plans because they just start at about $1 a day.
Yeah, SimpliSafe sent us a setup years back, and I still use mine every day.
Yeah, and apparently setup, you can do it by yourself in under 30 minutes. So it's a really good value and it doesn't take long.
So if you want to experience the SimpliSafe peace of mind, you can take advantage of the SimpliSafe discount offered to Stuff You Should Know listeners. Right now, you can get 50% off your new system by visiting simplisafe.com/stuff. That's half off at simplisafe.com/stuff. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Have you ever invested in something that seemed incredible at first but didn't live up to the hype? Well, marketers know that feeling. They optimize for the numbers that look great, impressions, reach, and reacts. But when they don't show revenue, well, that's a not so great conversation with the CFO. LinkedIn has a word for that: bull spend.
That's right, because you need to invest in what looks good to your CFO. LinkedIn Ads generates the highest ROAS, 121% of all major ad networks. You can reach the right buyers with LinkedIn Ads, and you can target by company, industry, job title, and more.
So cut the bull spend. Advertise on LinkedIn, the network that works for you. Spend $250 on your first campaign on LinkedIn Ads and get a $250 credit for the next one. Just go to linkedin.com/SYSK. That's linkedin.com/SYSK. Terms and conditions apply.
Learning stuff with Joshua and Charles. Stuff you should know.
So if you want to go back to the original bougie, if you want to go back to France, the original meaning is from a French word, B-O-U-R-G, which I guess would that be bourg?
Yeah, kind of like burg on the end of a town.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's like a small town or a small market. In the Middle Ages, the people that live there sort of adopted that name for themselves. So it kind of, this word is just morphing and morphing all over the place over the years.
Mm-hmm.
They were one step up from like a farming peasant, so they were sort of the middle class of the time.
Right. Which is just the way that it was. Again, I said it was like a useful word. It wasn't like a put down. It wasn't like a compliment. It was like you are bourgeois. That's that.
A descriptor. Yeah.
Right. Very nice. And it wasn't until the 17th century, specifically I think in 1670, when Molière, the French playwright, came up with a musical comedy. He was hilarious, called Le Bourgeois Gentilhomme, or The Bourgeois Gentleman. And this is when it takes bourgeois and makes fun of it. It's Molière was punching down to the middle class and essentially doing the exact same thing that Gladys Knight and the Pips are doing with Bourgeoisie. He was basically making fun of some middle class social climber who was trying to make a name for himself in French society.
That's right. And that would be the definition that is most sort of thought of today in the 21st century when someone says bougie. Another modern musical example is Atlanta's own, from the ATL, Migos.
Mm-hmm.
You ever listen to Migos?
Oh, yeah.
It's good stuff. Mm-hmm. They have a song called Bad and Bougie, in this case spelled Bouje, and it sort of leans back on that, what the Pips were talking about, sort of a new fancy lifestyle.
Yes, but two things were different. One, the Migos made their money cooking crack in a crock pot, which is a proprietary eponym, and usually there's a Uzi in the same room too. And two, they were proud of being bougie and all of the new money and tacky ways that they threw it around. That was the thing. It wasn't a put down. They were like, yeah, I'm bougie. You should have seen the money I had before, and now look what I got.
Yeah, totally.
It's a great song.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where we are today. Bougie, it's essentially a put down depending on whether you've claimed it yourself. If most of the time, if you're calling someone bougie in America, you're basically saying, like you said at the outset, they're basic. Their lifestyle and their life is just kind of boring and pedestrian and middle of the road, and what's the point kind of thing. Usually it's from somebody who, they're just being mean, essentially, right?
Yeah.
But in France, that's not the case.
Yeah, in modern France, it does not mean pedestrian. It's a little more like good, well-mannered, well-educated. There's like 3 levels, supposedly, of a Parisian bourgeois. Mm-hmm. The nobility, or people that are kind of close to nobility, the rich, or the creme de la creme. You have the bourgeois de province, doctors, attorneys, middle-class types. And then the petit bourgeois, who are, shopkeepers, artists, kind of self-starting, self-employed people. Yeah,
and even though there seems to be a bit of a hierarchy to it, they're behaving the same way. I think it just depends on how much money you have is what it's really kind of carved out between. But the bourgeois in France is exactly what Americans who don't know what bourgeois means think of. They're correct, but they're just thinking specifically of the French bourgeois.
Yeah.
And I guess that's about it for being bougie and bourgeois and bourgeoisie and Karl Marx and Joseph Engels and Migos and Gladys Knight and the whole lot of it, Chuck.
Well, we'll follow up in 10 years and see if the definition's changed again.
Great idea. In the meantime, Short Stuff is out.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.